So yesterday reported there was about 290 to 300,000 people at the rally, mostly Jews, although there are many signs Christians for Israel. My father was there, and he said, I don't know why, but a few of them came over to me, gave me a hug, and wanted a picture with me, and his cousin, my cousin, and but so you have a lot of Jews in one area. That's pretty special. The bracha that I gave the group that we ended up meeting up with was the next time that we have this many Jews together should be at the Beis HaMikdash. But in addition to just so inspiring and to see so many people come out and to be counted as a number and to be factored in that way, to see major support from Washington, from a lot of our political leaders, it felt very safe there. We didn't see any policemen until we left, which I thought the perimeter was very, very big. And it was very special to be literally part of Am Yisrael. All walks of Am Yisrael were very much there. And a question struck me as we were, preparing to go on Sunday and Monday, and that's the following Gemara. The Gemara says, Maseches Brachos, and Daf Nunches Amar Aleph. V'amar Rav Huna, Haroa Ochluse Yisrael. If you see the myriads of Jews, a multitude of Jews, you make a bracha. How many Jews are we talking about? The Gemara is going to eventually say 600,000 Jews. If you see 600,000 Jews in one spot, you make a bracha. Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam, Chacham HaRazim, the sage of the secrets. We'll get to the funny language of the bracha, which is, why is that the Chacham, the wise one of the secrets, the knower of the secrets? Why is that the bracha? But you think about this, and you think the potential to have that many Jews in one location is pretty special. Someone please close the door. Thank you. Only 3 times in modern history did we have, anyone know when? 3 times in modern history did we have potentially 600,000 Jews in one location? Never happened in America. No, Siyam Shas 90,000, right? You spoke there about so many Jews, 3 times more yesterday. Soviet Jewry in 1987 was 250,000. Right? Yesterday was the most amount of Jews ever gathered together in Chutz La'aretz. In Eretz Israel, there were 3. What? No, not even 1948.
What was the official number?
Somebody's know. Thank you, Dina.
What was the official number?
290, 300. The Rabbi Yosef passed away in 2014, I believe, and reportedly there were 850,000 people at his funeral. What? You were there. Okay. One of the 850,000 people were there. Amazing. So that was one time, 2014. Again, how do they do this? So apparently, if you are in a helicopter, and we saw a few helicopters yesterday, you can do it based on, there's a study of this. Study of how you determine populations that are gatherings like this. You take like a few different sample sizes, a few different blocks, and then you multiply that number, and apparently it's pretty accurate. Although CNN said thousands of Jews gathered together, but that's not for now. That's for the cancel topic. As to why they said. It said it this morning. It wasn't yesterday, and the guy forgot to update the website. I checked it this morning because I was curious. Thousands of Jews gathered together. Buses all from over the country, thousands of Jews. Okay, not for now. So Rabbi Yosef is number 1. Rav Chaim Kanievsky passed away almost 2 years ago. So there, anywhere from 400 to 750,000 people. And there was a hafganah, there was a rally, political rally in Israel, also I think 2016. It had about 650,000 people. So only in the past 10 years have we had 3 situations, only in Chutz La'aretz, only Eretz Yisrael, sorry, where this could actually come up. But I was thinking about it. So let's discuss these halachos as to when would this be relevant and how would you make this bracha. For example, I can't see everybody. I'm just on one part of it. You don't see everybody. You see, even if you think you see everybody, you don't really see everybody. So can you make the bracha if you can't see everybody? What does this bracha really mean? Chacham harazim. And what is the significance of 600,000 people? Let's just start there. What's the significance of 600,000 people? Matan Torah, 600,000 people leaving Egypt, right? Somebody posted that yesterday was half of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Half of Yetzias Mitzrayim. The pasuk in Parshas Bo tells us that Sheish Me'os Ragli, right? Sheish Me'os Alav Ragli B'nai Yisrael. 600,000 people. That might have been only men. That might not have even been including women and children. Halachically, where Moshe Feinstein has a tshuva, famously, that writes that if 600,000 people are in one location every single day, then that place is considered a Rosh Hashanah for Erev purposes, and you can make an Erev there. He used that concept in a tshuva about Ocean Parkway. Ocean Parkway, right, according to Moshe Feinstein, is considered a Rosh Hashanah Deraisa. Who grew up in Brooklyn? Did you use the Erev? Use the Erev. Did you use the Erev? Use the Erev. Use the Erev. Okay. So you didn't use it. Okay, so right. Ramosha actually historically told people not to ask him the question. He told people because he had this opinion and he didn't think maybe they were bound to his opinion. He wrote the tshuva, and the rest is history in a certain way. Where Moshe writes, 600,000 people travel on that road every single day, and it's a road that goes from city to city. Use it to go to the tunnel, or you can use it to go to the Verrazano Bridge. Then therefore, it's considered a Rosh Hashanah Deraisa, and you cannot make an Erev over Ocean Parkway. Many disagreed with that approach. Many disagreed with that approach, and feel it can be one of the reasons why they disagree was maybe it doesn't factor in cars, it factored in people traveling, physically walking. Additionally, it's not a straight road. Some Rishonim require the road to be straight, and maybe Route 4 is a pretty straight road, or straighter, but Ocean Parkway curves a lot throughout, and maybe it doesn't count, but yeah.
I remember correctly, for a while, Staten Island, I think at one time on the other side of the expressway, they did not have an
Right.
And
So
later on, I think that they did something to be able to have an airline.
there's a few locations in Teaneck where the Erev in Teaneck, the RCBC oversees the Erev in Teaneck, and the Erev there goes under the overpass of Route 4. And I believe, I haven't seen it, but I believe there are signs there that different poskim had different opinions as to whether the Erev can go there. What? There are no signs. Okay. So it's based on a Ramban. The Ramban writes that if you go from city to city, if there's a street that goes from city to city, no matter how many people are there, it's considered Rosh Hashanah D'Oraisa. You can't have an Erev there. That is the opinion of the Ramban. I believe Schechter has that approach too. So you can go up until, because they work the Erev, that there's a wall of the Erev that could be potentially there. Other poskim disagree and think that there are enough people, and people is a factor too, and therefore it's not a problem. It's underneath, maybe not over, but just to appreciate where the number 600,000 comes into play according to halacha. Now, what do you think? Why would the language of the bracha be chacham harazim? What does that mean? The knower of secrets, or the sage of the secrets? Why would that be the bracha? Any thoughts? Chacham harazim. That God is the Hashem Baruch Hashem Elokeinu Mechalam. Chacham harazim. That God is a knower, or the sage of the secrets. Rashi, what? Because he knows everything. So Rashi writes, Hayodea Masha B'Leiv Kol Elu. You make the bracha because you're blown away. Whoa, look how many people are here. And everyone is an olam alim. Every single person is a world unto themselves. Unbelievable. It's amazing. And everyone has thoughts, and everyone has knowledge, and everyone has a whole life. Hashem knows all of that, plus infinite, right? Maybe not, maybe infinite is limiting, I don't know. And so when you are struck at this moment, where you see so many people, you're just blown away by this moment, and you want to be thankful to the Ribono Shel Olam that He is so amazing. So you thank Hashem and recognize that He is truly the Chacham Harazim. As much as we think we know, we don't, and Hashem knows even more. That's, yeah.
Why use the term? Why is that? Why not some other?
He knows your inner thoughts. He knows your innermost things that nobody knows.
Milty, I think what you're asking is like, why make this bracha now? You should make this bracha every single day. It's a wonderful group of people here.
Those words.
Yeah. As opposed to
Something else with Hashem.
something else with Hashem. Not sure why not else with Hashem. But the Meiri writes the following. The Meiri writes something very similar. He writes that everyone in this location has human thoughts, right? We're limited in what we could think about and what we can actually know and what knowledge we can possess. When you see so many people together, you realize that Hashem possesses much more knowledge than even what we can grasp. The one's, I think, a quantitative approach to knowledge, and one's more of a qualitative approach to the knowledge. The Rashi versus the Meiri in terms of what we are approaching. The Rabbi Nachman of Breslov writes something a little bit different. He writes the following: when you see 600,000 Jews, says Rabbi Nachman, see, this bracha, according to Rashi and the Meiri, are focusing on the brilliance of Hashem and the brilliance of everybody else. That's not what Rabbi Nachman's focusing on. He says, it's on me. When you can intertwine yourself and connect yourself to so many other Jews, then you can become somebody that is a Chacham Harazim, that has this knowledge. The more that you entangle yourself and try to learn from other people, the greater Chachma you acquire. Kikol mashim iskabsim yoser b'nei adam. The more that you learn from other people, you learn their secrets, not their what they did in fourth grade and they want to hide from everybody else. You learn their wisdom. You learn their wisdom, the collective wisdom of every single person there. And this reminds me of a story from one of the Rebbes, where Hasidic Rebbe, someone came into him right before Shabbos and said, Rebbe, I have a problem. It's too late, I can't go to the mikvah. I go to the mikvah every single Friday, every single Erev Shabbos. I can't go to the mikvah, the mikvah's closed. What do I do? And he said, are there still people in the market? Are there still Jews? Think of Machan Yehuda. Machan Yehuda, I was there 2 weeks ago. On Thursday night, usually it is. You physically can't move. And I was there in the summer. You have to like shuffle from one, right? And it takes you a very long time to get from one end to the other. And 2 Thursday night was relatively quiet. It was very quiet there. A lot of stores are closed by 7 p.m. And maybe they weren't even open. He says, are the Jews still in the market? He said, yes. We say the following pasuk: Mikvah Yisrael Hashem, which literally means Mikvah Yisrael Hashem, that Mikvah Yisrael Hashem, that what the Jewish people need from Hashem is mikvah. Mikvah comes from the word Kivoy, which means hope. We use our hope into Hashem. But he says the following. He says, mikvah Yisrael Hashem, that what is a real mikvah? You have one mikvah, which is underground, which is with water. Another one is to connect yourself to other Jews. When you intertwine yourself with other Jews, that within itself is a purification process. That within itself is a mikvah. So this chassid like ran around. Well, I don't think he bumped into other, but that within itself is like a type of mikvah purification process. And that's maybe what Rabbi Nachman is really telling us. When you're able to, be open to other types of Jews and to accept them as your brothers and sisters and to be open to what they say and their opinions, that's truly a chacham harazim, that you can be open, you can open yourself up to amazing things and to deep, deep wisdom. The Shulchan Aruch here paskins this halacha, haroeh Shishim Riboy Yisrael biyachad. If you see 600,000 Jews together, you say Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam chacham harazim. You have to see everybody biyachad. Oh boy! So biyachad. So you have to be in the helicopter. You have to be on stage, and then you can see it. So they asked this question to Rav Chaim Kanievsky. Rav Chaim Kanievsky, they asked him this question at this rally. They had a hafgana, a political rally. And they asked him, there's over 650,000 people here can make this bracha. He said, of course you can, even if you see a partial area, you're part of it, right? You could have made the bracha, okay? Why? He says that Bilam HaRasha tried to curse the Jewish people, ultimately blessed them. But did Bilam see the totality of the Jewish people and give them bracha? No, the pasuk says he saw kitzei ha'am. He saw just a part of the nation. And even just seeing a part of the nation was enough to make the bracha. Says Rav Chaim that if Bilam HaRasha was able to do that in his way, then for sure we could do that in our way as well. Ultimately, you can make the bracha that way. Rav Shechter paskins that even if it's done based on evaluations and based on estimates would be enough to make this bracha. I saw there's a sefer on this bracha. It's amazing. The sefer on everything today. The sefer on this bracha, and the sefer agrees with Shechter on this approach that even just the estimation itself would be enough to make the bracha.
Rabbi,
Yeah.
it was Alexandria where shul was so big that they used to have flags, say what Yahweh or.
That was a shul in Alexandria. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
they didn't hear it either. They just knew. When the Chazan said it, they didn't actually even hear it. But
correct.
They were able to answer.
Oh, so maybe that's another proof because not.
It's like you don't have to
really
have this senses of hearing and seeing, but as long as you're within the group, you still can.
Very good. That's a very nice idea. What? So yesterday they had a speaker system, which I think was also fine. The problem with this is the Rambam. And this is, I think, what makes this even more relevant for us today. The Rambam, when he quotes this halacha and passes this halacha in Hilchos Brachos, Perek Yud, halacha Yud Aleph, he adds the following detail, which is not explicit in the Gemara. He says, "V'im haroeh sheish meos elef adam ke'echad, v'im Yisrael." You see 600 Jews together. Im Yisrael heim, they're Jewish. Ube'eretz Yisrael. Omer, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam chacham harazim. You can make this bracha, 600,000 Jews, and in Eretz Yisrael. Only in Eretz Yisrael. Now, why would that be? The Gemara does not say this at all. Why would this be that you only make this bracha in Eretz Yisrael?
Because the Gemara is Baba, so they're outside Eretz Yisrael.
Therefore, what?
Therefore, they didn't want to exclude themselves.
Oh, really? You need a proof. This is the Talmud Bavli writes halacha. There might be one proof for this. The Mefarshim are troubled by this. Most of the commentaries in the Rambam, there's numerous commentaries in the Rambam. Most of them, what they're trying to do is trying to find out the Rambam source. The Rambam wrote a work that was meant to be the Mishnah Torah, meant to be concise. His goal was for people not to be learning Gemara anymore, but to learn practical halacha from the Mishnah Torah itself. He doesn't, he wanted to make it easy as possible, so he didn't give any sources. The problem is, when he writes something that's so unique and so novel, it's not explicit, that's where all the excitement happens. And that's where everybody continues to develop and try to figure out what exactly is the Rambam saying, where did he get this from? This is one such example where everybody raises up their hands and says, Rambam, where in the world do you get this from? I don't get it. So it could be from the following Gemara. The Gemara later on says, Amrula, the Nimrula, Naktinan, Eino Chlusa Bebaba. We hold that there is no multitude in Baba. There's no gathering of 600,000 in Baba. That may mean practically it doesn't happen, right? Or it may be teaching us a halacha, that this halacha only applies in Eretz Yisrael. That's wonderful. The Shulchan Aruch, by the way, doesn't paskin that way. The Shulchan Aruch just says, stop. If you see 600,000, regardless of where you are, you make the bracha. Why, not from a source reason, but more from a, I'd say, philosophical, machshava reason, why would the Rambam say this halacha only applies in Eretz Yisrael? Any thoughts? Yeah.
That is a manifestation of kibbutz galiot and a step closer to Mashiach, and that's something worth bracha.
That's beautiful. So you're saying this bracha was meant, if going back to what Dina said earlier, 600,000 Jews around Har Sinai, Yetzias Mitzrayim, miracles all around you, and this is part of Geula, then you only make the bracha when it's like part of Geula. Geula doesn't happen here. Geula happens there, right? When Mashiach comes, we're not going to go on buses. That's I can tell you. Is it planes or eagles? I'm not sure which one. You could how you interpret some sukkim in the Navi, but we're not going to take buses. We're not going to take buses. Okay, there's space for everybody to go. Okay, so there are a few approaches here in the Rambam as to what the Rambam means. The first, I heard that. Okay, the first is from the Tzlach. The Tzlach was the Nod Yehuda, Yecheskel Landau. Yecheskel Landau lived in Prague in the 1700s, and he wrote many, many Smarim. Most famously, he wrote the Nod Yehuda. Nod Yehuda is his Shuvos. He was a Rav, chief rabbi of Prague. He's buried in the cemetery in Prague, and his mother's name was Chaya. So he wrote a parish on the Gemara called the Tzlach. Sion lenefesh chaya. When someone puts up a stone, an unveiling, in Hebrew, the word for stone is Sion. Sion lenefesh chaya, the stone, the remembrance of my mother, chaya is the Torah that I'm teaching in her memory. So the Sfarim are called Tzlach. In the Sefer Tzlach, the Nod Yehuda writes, why is it that you only make this bracha in Eretz Yisrael for the Rambam? The Rambam writes, so the Tzlach says, Chacham Arazim blesses your wisdom. Right? Where do you have the greatest amount of wisdom? In Eretz Yisrael. Gemara Baba Basra teaches us, Avira de'ara machim. They don't bottle up air in the airports in America and sell it to people leaving America. They bottle up the air in Eretz Yisrael and they sell it to all of us, and we buy it. Because Avira de'ara machim. There's just the air of Eretz Yisrael makes you broader, makes you wiser. There's something special about the air in Eretz Yisrael. And he says that's a deeper message. Or Chacham Arazim. Right? Think about Rabbi Nachman. We become wiser. Sure, the gathering in America, that's wonderful. But true wisdom is attained in Eretz Yisrael. Ki mitzion, teitzei Torah. True Torah. comes out of Eretz Yisrael. That doesn't mean we don't have amazing Torah scholars in America or in Chutz La'aretz. It's not a question we do. It's not a question. But if you want to see signs of the Geula, it's when the Torah is coming out of Eretz Yisrael. In 1956, Rabbi Soloveitchik gave a famous drasha called the Four Knocks of Geula, Kol Dodi Dofek. And he spoke about what is different today in 1956 than pre-Holocaust in Europe. And he spoke about what having Eretz Yisrael changes politically, socially, militarily. He spoke about the nafkaminas, the practical differences between having a state and not having a state. One difference that he didn't say was because in 1956 it didn't really happen yet, and many of his students have said subsequently, is that ki mitzion teitei Torah. That the fact that we have a state who's dictating the Torah now, right? Used to be the Gedolei Hador lived here. Now there are Gedolei Hador here. Not a question. There are many Gedolei Hador in Eretz Yisrael, and we are riding and following in their footsteps. Avira Da'ara Machim. The Rogatchover Gaon's name was Rav Yosef Rosen. He was a very intense fellow. He lived in a city, Dvinsk. Lived near the Meshech Chachma, or Meir Simcha Dvinsk. The Rogatchover, they say, was very intense, that he would never get a haircut. If you see any picture of him, his hair was very wild. He never wanted to mevatel his Torah. So you can't learn when you're getting a haircut. Therefore, he never got a haircut. He writes in his Sefer that the reason, I saw this in the Sifta Gemara, back of the Gemaras, that the reason why this bracha only applies in Eretz Yisrael is because we can only become a kahila, a kahal, in Eretz Yisrael. He quotes the Rambam in Hilchos Shkagos about a halacha regarding korbanos, and when Sanhedrin makes a decision, for example, that is a wrong decision, and then people end up following the wrong decision of the Sanhedrin, when they realize they need to bring a special korbanos. Now, if the majority of the Jews made that, did the wrong thing, so how do we determine the majority of Jews? So the Rambam says, we don't factor in the Jews that made that mistake in Chutz La'aretz. We only factor in the Jews in Eretz Yisrael, because the Jews in Eretz Yisrael have a Shem Kihila. Shem Kihila. Therefore, he writes, that's what the Rambam means. I can only make the bracha of 600,000 in Eretz Yisrael because that's when there is a Kihila. That's when there's a Kihila. It's hard to get 600,000 Jews together in Israel. It's never happened in Chutz La'aretz. In Israel, it's only happened because people passed away and one very major political rally. That's it. I want to conclude with the words of Rav Kook. Rav Kook has a sefer on the Siddur called Olas Re'iyah. And Olas Re'iyah, he has a parish on this bracha. After all, if you open up the Archel Siddur, you will see you have Shachris, you have Mincha. And I believe in between Shachris and Mincha, you have brachos, like benching, and maybe after Mincha, I don't remember. And you have like all these brachos meshunos, all these like random brachos that you would make, like on a rainbow, thunder, lightning, and like if you happen to bump into 600,000 of your fellow brothers and sisters, in Eretz Yisrael, make this bracha. So on there, he has the perush why the Rambam would say in Eretz Yisrael only. And I think this is very, very powerful. He writes that if you see 600,000 Jews in Chutz La'aretz gathered together, he says they're not really gathered together. You know why? Because we're still on a journey. You're still on a journey to Eretz Yisrael. We're just not there yet. So they look like they're gathered together. We're on our way to Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, that's not the journey, but that is the destination. Rivka doesn't like it. Okay, what's your question on it? Go ahead.
fuzzy. 600,000 people, what's the purpose of this? What's the connection?
What's connection
I
to,
understand what the words mean, I just don't understand why you're saying it when there's 600,000, like, why are you saying?
I mean, you could say when there's 10,000 Jews.
Yeah, but what
It-
does knower of secrets has to do with a lot of people being in one place?
Right, so that's what we had, the Rambam, the Rashi and the Meiri explain that either it's a blessing about Hashem, that this is gonna blow you away when you see so many people here, and Hashem even knows more qualitatively or quantitatively than even everybody here. And this 600,000 is like symbolic of a great number of people. But Rivka, what's your,
Yesterday, you don't think the Jews were connected to each other at the rally?
oh, we're not saying the Jews aren't connected to each other. I don't think that's what he means. I don't think that's what he means.
What then?
So, okay, good. Great question. Thank you for asking. So that the Jews aren't connected to each other, but they're not set in this one place. What he means is they're not set here because we're still on our journey. We're still on our journey. Think about Abraham. Abraham Avinu, if he set up a shul on the way to Eretz Israel, that's not his set place because his goal, his destination is Eretz Israel. So he says the bracha was only instituted according to the Rambam. Ultimately, we don't pass it this way. But according to the Rambam, he says the Rambam's intention that this bracha should be set when the Jewish people are at their destination, not on their journey. Yeah. Sure.
Maybe, I don't know, I'm sort of, agreeing with Rivka, I get what you're saying, you're on a journey kind of thing, but I think what yesterday and since October 7th, what has shown is that a kehillah, this is just my opinion,
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily physically need to be a kehillah, and to say Chacham Harazim, that's more of the inside of, the unknown, the inside of a person. And I would think that that would maybe apply, the neshamas and the hearts of all the Jews. I think yesterday was clearly a really kehillah-dic kind of event.
Good.
And just
Good.
what's going on in Israel, in the Wall Street Journal today, there was this article of, the Shevach of the Haredim that are joining Sahel and everything.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe the Razim part, the secret or the innermost thing, really is speaking to the neshamas and the hearts of the Eden all around the world, and that's very key.
Good. We're not finished yet, but yes, no, I agree. I wanted to answer Rivka. Mandy.
Just an amazing stat I heard yesterday.
Yeah.
I was in Washington. Someone said that pre-World War II Jews for the Holocaust, the amount of Jews today still does not equal the amount of those.
Really?
It blew my mind. I heard that.
I didn't know that.
It's now 80 years later.
How many people were pre-Holocaust?
Pre-Holocaust, there are less Jews in the world today.
How many were there?
Well, I don't know.
There's 61 million Jews.
No,
16
16.
16.1.
It was more then. Wow.
There was more Jews then than now. It's unbelievable.
The Holocaust wiped out 1/3 Jewry, so if there's 6 million, then I guess.
Yeah, but
We're not there yet.
You can see how so bringing Jews together.
Good. We can use Zoom as an example. Yeah, Michael. Yeah. Michael, louder, please. Yeah. Yeah.
It matches up very nicely to what you're saying. According to Owen, you are on Sunday, a couple Sundays ago, he gave his entire collection place to Robert and Jen in Eretz Israel.
It's very nice of him. Yeah.
Inspired him, and he said, I want to bless World War II to brothers and sisters.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Very nice. Yossi. Yossi? Can you have your hand up? Zoo. Okay. So what I wanted to add to Rav Kook was really what Rivka just said, and Shira pointed out also, is that really what we're seeing today is this connection. There's Yerushalmi that writes that every shul has the offer of Eretz Yisrael. It's like almost like an embassy to Eretz Yisrael. Every shul in Bavel, the Gemara writes, it really means that all over Chutz La'aretz becomes like an embassy in the embassy of American embassy in Jerusalem really is American soil. So we think about that idea, the embassy of our shuls is Israeli property. It's Israeli soil. You take that idea a step further, when you become somebody that's connected to our brothers and sisters in Eretz Israel, then that's a different thing. Then you ultimately are connecting yourself there, and it's like you are there. It's like you're not physically there, but you become part of that collective of Am Yisrael, something that we're very much seeing and feeling today in a very real way. The Shulchan Aruch writes, it's debated whether Shulchan Aruch accepts the opinion of the Rambam. Simply put, he does not accept that approach, but it's something very much for us to consider. And maybe he does, because he has hope and feels that Am Yisrael, wherever the Jews are, that we always have our hearts towards the Mizrach. We always have our hearts towards our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael. We are always thinking about them. So are they collected and gathered here, or in Washington, or in the streets of Bnei Brak, or in Yerushalayim? We are all connected and unified together. Part of that, the collective, Rabbi Salvation would call it the Knesses Yisrael, the collective of Am Yisrael that is all connected. Since October 7th, we have seen that in a very real way. You've seen people from all over the world pour out, their hearts, their souls, finances, anything they could do to help Eretz Yisrael and to help our brothers and sisters there, help the kids on the college campuses in any possible way, because we need to be united more than ever. It was felt yesterday, but yesterday was almost like a summation of the way that we've been feeling for the 30 plus days. Today's day number 40, since Simchas Torah, that we have been feeling this collective Am Yisrael in a very real way. Maybe our learning today, but really all of that learning, all of our tefillos of Am Yisrael should bring the 240 hostages back very, very soon, and all of our chayalim should come back to their homes as well, safely and speedily. Wish everybody a great day.